introductions. Now, I will also caution the candidates. Any personal attacks, that candidate that you have called out on the carpet will get 1 minute to respond. So if you attack any of the candidates, you're giving them an extra minute to state their point. So in just a moment we will get started, but it's been brought to my attention the terrible accident on the thruway that we've all been reporting on all day. There were students from school 18 in grades 3, 5, and 8 who were in that tragic accident. School board members are asking that we give them a moment of silence before we get started. God bless them and their families. Now, we will begin with the introductions of each of the candidates, starting from the far end. Ms. Kapsiak, 2 to 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Mary Ruth Kapsiak. As you know, I am a former Buffalo Public School teacher of special education, reading, was former assistant principal, supervisor of elementary education. I've been on the board for the past 6 years, and I'm running for re-election because there are some things that I have put into motion that have not come to fruition, and I would like to see that happen in support of the district, moving the district forward with our new superintendent, Dr. Pamela Brown.
Thank you very much. Ms. Kelly?
Hi, my name is Sue Gillick. I am a Buffalo resident. I was born here. I graduated from school number 21 at Riverside High School. I received my PhD from the University of Buffalo in clinical psychology. I have had 35 years of experience in education in both public schools and charter schools. I am here because I am very concerned about a city that I love. I'm looking for schools to become the center of the community. I'm looking for solutions, not suspensions. I'm here because I have worked with Citizen Action, and we have worked with the board, and we have started the Code of Conduct, which is about to be passed, and we think it will be a landmark. And I just want to make sure that it will be implemented effectively.
Good evening.
That is beyond my control, but we'll ask our house technicians if they can turn the volume up on our sound anymore. After that, if you want to speak up a little bit more, folks need to hear you in the back of the auditorium.
Okay, I'll do my best. Good evening. My name is Teresa Harris-Tigg. I am currently an assistant professor in English education at Buffalo State College. I am also currently have been invited by the superintendent, Dr. Pamela Brown, to sit on the steering committee, the 2013 steering committee for Buffalo Public Schools. I am formerly a teacher with Buffalo Public Schools for 13 years. And then I was promoted to district support specialist. I am here because our children are in a crisis. And I'm here to bring some urgency, some immediacy, some attention to the crisis they find themselves in, with 48 failing schools, low attendance rates, high suspension rates. I'm here to promote a collective in our community, on our board, throughout the school system, to address the problems that result in 48 failing schools. We have to do something about it immediately.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for being here today. Of course, to thank the Buffalo Association of Minority Journalists in conducting this very important forum and giving us an opportunity to actually talk about some of the things that we do in the Buffalo public school system and why we are in the situation that we're in. I am a current board member, and it's with great pride and gratitude that I seek re-election. On May 7th, parents and taxpayers will be actually going to vote on the Board of Election races. Hopefully, by the time you leave here today, you will have a much better idea of the contrast between my opponent and some of the folks that are coming into the school system or trying to get into the school system, and some of the important things that we've tried to do for the past, at least from my perspective, the last 9 years. And hopefully by the end of today, before you walk out that door, you'll have a much better understanding of some of the challenges that we face and some of the things that we're trying to do to fix them. And more importantly, that charter schools are not the kind of school that people make them out to be. And I will prove that hopefully before you leave this evening.
Hello, my name is Brian McIntyre. I'm a recently retired fireman here in the city of Buffalo, as well as a former substitute teacher for about 8 years here in the district. I've been an advocate for education for over 15 years, maybe 20 years. I presently have 4 children that go to school here in the city of Buffalo. Most of my interests have been children with special needs, but I advocate for all children. We have 34 to 36,000 students in Buffalo, and over 27,000 of them are in low-performing schools. Just in the last 10 years, we've been from having under 20 schools in need of supervision, they change the acronym all the time, to having over 40 schools. Out of all of our schools, we only have 11 schools in just good standing. That's the problem, and it's continuously getting worse. So my reason for running is because I don't want any more of my grandchildren or children to leave town because of inferior education and no opportunity. Education doesn't guarantee you a job, but it does guarantee you an opportunity. And too many children are being deprived of getting what they need just to have an opportunity. And that's what it's about for me. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Wendy Mistretta. I'm here tonight primarily because of my children. I have 2 children in Buffalo Public Schools. Right now they are both attending International School number 45 in 3rd and 4th grade. I'm very fortunate that in the fall my son will be going to City Honors. It is an amazing opportunity for him. If he wasn't going there, I would have seriously been looking at other opportunities and other options for him. Once he attends there, he'll be able to get 2 foreign languages, instruction in musical instrument, sports, and after-school activities. And if he were to stay at 45, he wouldn't have any of those. And that kind of inequitable education throughout our district is unacceptable. Personally, I came into education. I've been in Buffalo for 20 years. And I came here to Buffalo State College for Student Personnel Administration as a grad student. I worked here for 7 years as Assistant Director of International Education, and during that time I earned my PhD in Higher Education at the University of Buffalo. So I am personally and professionally very interested in the public education system in our city.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Belton-Cotman. I currently represent the Ferry District. I was appointed to the board in the spring of 2011 after the previous board member vacated the position. As a result, I stepped into a whirlpool and realized that I have a passion for this. You have to have a passion to sit on the Board of Education for Children. The pay is little. The reward is great as far as the success of the children, but the criticism is very hard and harsh. For some reason, everyday citizens are expected to fix the problems that exist inside the homes of the children. I come from a single-parent household. My mother raised 4 children. We all received our education. We graduated on time, so I know it can be done. I raised 2 young men who went to public school, who were successful, and all of their friends graduated on time. Call me the Kool-Aid mom. You could come to my house, you could eat, but you had to do your homework. And we worked with that. So since sitting on the board, I have realized what an enormous task it is to try to correct the problems that exist in our system. there is not one person who's responsible for it. Collectively, we all are responsible for it. Because under my watch and your watch, this has happened. But in order to fix something, you must identify the problem and then work toward the solution. One of the things we immediately did is recognize that we did not have the proper leadership in place to move this district to the next degree. We immediately went out and searched that. Since sitting on the board, I've had the opportunity to work with the Say Yes and assist them in deciding to select Buffalo out of 1,000 districts to come into Western New York to make a difference for our children. Now that we have them, the task is ahead of us to make sure that we can get our children to the next level, to make sure that our children receive a world-class education, and to make sure that people stop pointing fingers at each other and start working on the solutions. Thank you.
Good evening. I hope you can hear me. If not, I can speak loud. I'm sorry I don't have a picture. I'm in the Witness Protection Program, so they didn't have a picture for me. But anyhow, my name is Joe Masha. I'm currently Commissioner with the Buffalo Municipal Housing Authority, elected to my fourth term. And I've been a city resident all my life. My wife, I'm happy to have my daughter back after 8 years being out of the city, my grandchildren in public school. A product of schools that aren't here anymore, number 2 and 73. I'm happy to say Grover Cleveland's here, but a little different. But when I became a Commissioner of Housing Authority, I got to admit it was a little bit selfish. I wanted to make sure that where I lived in housing stayed. I wanted to make sure that people who are of low income could live on the water. The water isn't based on your income. But when I was elected the first time, I saw the problems in housing just weren't limited to my development. It was throughout the housing authority. It was systemic. And each successful year that I ran, in the last time I ran, I made a statement to my wife, and I told her, she told me, "What are you doing this for? Are you kidding me?" And then, I sat back and I said, should I run? Shouldn't I run? And when you look at it, being elected, I said to myself, I almost feel guilty if I don't. I feel guilty because who's going to advocate for the people in housing? So now, when this opportunity came with the Buffalo Board of Education, this is another opportunity for me to work for another segment of the community, the children. And we have problems in the school board. When you talk about leadership, some of the people here voted for the past leadership, that they say they needed new leadership. So now, what we need to do is a couple of things that I think should happen. And this is personal. Not everyone's built for college. We do have to have vocational training brought back to the schools. I mean, a good living. I was 14 years, luckily 14 years of my last 14 years with the Buffalo schools as a tradesman. And I spent 50 years as a tradesman. And I made a good living. And I think what we need to do is take a step back and look at what else we can do to bring kids back to school. Get them interested in what they're learning. A friend of mine told me that he couldn't get his son to understand math. Why does he need it? Until he got into a construction program. Now he understood why he needed math, geometry, algebra, arithmetic. So you need to bring kids in school, get them interested in what they're doing, make sure that they come to school. It's a shame that the teachers are being evaluated on something when they should be evaluated on the number of students that are attending school. You can't be evaluated on children that aren't there. So we need to get the kids back to school. So hopefully you'll think about that on May 7th. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. My name is Jim Sampson. I'm currently, at least for the next few months, or a couple months, the president of Gateway Longview. Been doing that for about 8.5 years. Prior to that, I ran at least 2 not-for-profit organizations in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I actually grew up in Western New York, left for 2 years, but it took me 30 years to get back here. So when I came back, we started to understand what was going on in this community and the city. And I think that there is probably no greater gift that a parent or a community can give to their child